This is very confusing. It may be the hunger.
You've just eaten.
Oh, that's right. Maybe I didn't eat enough.
Hey guys, I just got back from seeing Christopher Robin. So, if you haven't paid attention on my Instagram and Twitter, which I don't know why you're not, so make sure you're following, I got the opportunity to go for free to an advanced screening because it opens up this Friday, August 3rd, I think worldwide from what I've heard. But it opens up Friday and the premiere was actually last night and they did some advanced screenings for D23 members. So I got to go for free, that was pretty cool. I left work a little bit early for the day and went and saw the movie. It was interesting and it was different. I didn't know what to expect. There wasn't much pomp and circumstance. You really just show up and they show you the movie. There's no trailers, there's no ads, there's no nothing. It is just the movie. There's not even an introduction. I was a little disappointed by that. I thought there might be something like a poster or something they just hand out because these are people who have a paid membership to D23. But it was cool and I'm glad I got to see the movie. I wanted to go over some of my thoughts about the movie and give you kind of a brief review of what I thought about it and whether or not you should see it. If you're interested in seeing it, let me know in the comments or hit me up on Instagram and Twitter because I want to talk about it, and after you've seen it, let's discuss it. I'm going to try and stay pretty spoiler-free. There will be some plot points, but you probably can guess where this movie goes and what it focuses on if you've seen the trailers at all. If you haven't seen the trailers, basically we join Christopher Robin as an adult and he's left his childhood behind. The movie actually starts at the very end of the original Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and it kind of takes you from there. And I didn't expect that, and it shows you some of the events that actually make Christopher into an adult and forget about his childhood, which was interesting and a little bit different of a take of it. The first half of the movie is a little slow, and I didn't really love it as much as I wanted to, but then the second half of the movie, it really gears up, and I really did enjoy it, especially because you get to see Christopher regain his childhood through other people's eyes, and I thought that was really interesting and different than these kind of stories that we've seen before. The film's directed by Mark Forster, who has done things like Quantum of Solace, the, give or take, James Bond film, and Finding Neverland. So it kind of gives you a gist about what this guy kind of does. At least those are the two movies I know him from. And I expected it to be a little more Finding Neverland than it actually was. It didn't lean too heavily in the special effects. Yes, all the characters are special effects, but it doesn't go kind of metaphysical like Finding Neverland does as it journeys into the imagination of Jan Barry. I don't want to give it away, but the way they incorporate the characters is actually different than how I expected it to be. And they take the story in a little bit different of a path, which is good. I actually enjoyed what they did and how they did it. One of the things that really interests me is how poignant and endearing the characters were, specifically Pooh. It's funny, because if you think about Pooh's dialogue and a lot of what he says, which his dialogue is spot on, he would be that kind of annoying kid that's just always in your ear saying nonsense, but he's lovable and you just love him every time he says it. Even as Christopher kind of wrestles with like, what you're saying doesn't make sense and it doesn't work in the real world. I thought that was really well done and really interesting. Speaking of the characters, they really do capture them very well. Each of them is a very good representation from the original that you remember. The voice cast is different. Jim Cummings does Tigger and Pooh, who he's been doing Tigger and Pooh since you've been alive for the most part, unless you're really old and watched the original film. He has done so many Disney characters, you would know him from so many things. But he has done Winnie the Pooh for at least 3 decades. And he's spot on with both those characters. The voices for King and Roo are great. Rabbit and Piglet are okay. Brad Garrett does Eeyore, and I thought he did a terrific job being Eeyore, sounding kind of like the original Eeyore you remember, but a little bit different at the same time. In fact, Eeyore actually stars in this movie more than I expected him to. I expected it to be a lot more about Winnie the Pooh, and it is. He is in this movie a lot. But Eeyore does get a big role, and that's kind of interesting to me because I don't think he's really the fan favorite that Tigger and Pooh really are. But that's cool, right? It's great to get to see Eeyore, and he has some great moments in this film. So again, I just want to reiterate that watching Christopher change isn't even the interesting part of this film. It's actually watching the people around him see him change, and that was where it actually had me tearing up a bit. I laughed at the jokes. I laughed at the moments where Pooh just makes so much sense, or the characters say something and you're like, wow, have you ever stopped to think about how we say that or what that actually means as they interpret the real world a bit? Again, that's not really a spoiler. You see that in the trailer, so sorry if you didn't want to know that. But it is really interesting to see Christopher come to life through his eyes of his daughter and his wife. And his wife is played by Haley Atwell, who I love. Loved her in the original Captain America. Love her as Agent Carter. Wish that show would come back. She's been in Cinderella, the live action one. She's done a number of things. And then his daughter, I don't know if she's been in anything else, but she was really well done too. At first I was kind of like not really enthralled with Madeline. She just seemed to be there, but by the second half of the movie when it really picks up, credit to her, she just did a great job. Again, letting you see Christopher's change through her eyes and what it means for her to discover her dad for the first time as these characters kind of reveal his childhood to her. And it's just really interesting and a different way of doing this kind of story. The other thing I'll say before I go is that this movie really does play with the PG rating. It is pretty safe for kids and families. There's no cussing as far as I could tell. There's one moment of violence as you kind of see Christopher grow up that I don't want to expound too much on, but if you know the real life Christopher Robin, it makes a little sense and it's probably a homage to him. I was intrigued by how they handled this and what they did and how they really made it a PG movie that all ages can really go. I don't think it's scary. Little kids probably will have a lot go over their head, but that's fine. That's kind of the magic of these movies. They'll laugh at the characters and they'll love the characters, but they might not get exactly all of the nuance to some of the stuff that they're saying. And it has a great message too, the growing up message and just what's important in your life and focusing on those things. If you've seen Hook, it's nothing new, it's nothing brilliant, but you get it with some of the classic characters that you love and grew up with, and some of their personalities that just are fun and entertaining to watch. That's why they've survived for decades. So if you're gonna go see Christopher Robin, let me know. Leave me a comment below, like this video, and let's have a discussion about what you think of the movie or what you're most excited for. Who's your favorite Winnie the Pooh character? Let me know that. That's a divisive question. And which Pooh character are you the most like? A lot of people say I'm like Eeyore. I tend to think I'm a little bit more like Piglet because I'm a little scared about life and doing things like that, and I'm a little apprehensive. Not as much as he is. But I'm definitely not Winnie the Pooh because I'm not as happy as Go-Lucky. Tigger's too rambunctious for me. Kanga, yeah, no. Maybe a little bit of Rabbit, but I don't like think I'm an Eeyore. Maybe I am. If I am, leave me a comment below and let me know. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, again, give it a like. Subscribe to my channel because I'm doing tons of Disney content and stuff like that. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day.